Hi, I'm Penny Hill, owner at EFT Tapping for Stress Relief and the developer of the Habits of Happiness courses. I want you to be happier, and EFT is a big part of getting happier. So the Olympics are going on right now, so top of mind are athletic competitions. So if happiness were running a race, not a goal, but happiness is how you do the journey of life. You get faster, you get further faster if you aren't pulling a sled full of rocks. So EFT is a way of unhitching yourself from from the past so that you can move forward with lightness of being and achieve your goals quicker, faster, easier. So right now, we're just going to talk about EFT, and I thought it would be useful, maybe enlightening, to talk about how EFT was developed and all of the various steps along the pathway over the last century, really, that allowed us to get to the place where now energy psychology is a booming and burgeoning modality that is gaining in respect and understanding. So EFT is a energy technique, but it also works in the body. So my business tag is less stress, more happy. Right? Because less stress does lead to better health and more success, better performance. And happiness is its own journey. So tapping can let go of the past and the stress, and then happiness has its own developmental path. But that's a discussion for a different day. And right now, we're just going into history. So as I started to say, EFT, or tapping, as a lot of people generally refer to, a lot of different techniques that are not EFT, but EFT is a tapping technique. It involves the body and the energy in the body. So going all the way back to the 1920s, Wilhelm Reich was one of the first people to observe that there was like this armoring in the body in response to strong emotions and emotional trauma. Now, this is something that massage therapists have known and trained for. We know, like when people, by the way, I am a massage therapist and have been since 1990. When people are on the table, they come in a wide variety of textures, for lack of a better word. Some people are just very loose, very floppy, almost too loose. Most people have a in between, I'm tight here, loose there sort of arrangement, a collection of pieces and parts. And some people are hard, just solid, literally like armor. And that is, I'm not letting you in. I'm not, it's not a safe world. So as massage therapists, we're trained, to understand this, that when we touch the body, emotions will arise. And then by the time we get to World War II, Joseph Wolpe, a psychiatrist who was treating vets, discovered the connection between breathing and emotions. Now, again, this is something that we got in our massage training, right? People have too much tension here and they may not even know it. And also that is also connected usually to this tendency to hold can't see what I'm doing, hold the stomach flat and to breathe from the shoulders like that. right? This is stress breathing, right? So if you're in my massage clinic, we talk about breathing a lot because as long as you are stiff up here and stiff down here, you don't have the fluidity to feel the feelings, experiencing them, and let them go. And your shoulders drive you crazy because they're too tight, right? And they're too tight because you're asking them to do everything that they're supposed to be doing and do the breathing for you as well. Oh, all right. So let me move this down here out of the way. So then also in the 60s, there was a chiropractor, George Goodhart, who was introduced to acupuncture. And this started the journey and the connect the dots that leads directly to EFT. So you may have heard of muscle energy testing. This is where it started with George Goodhart. He combined this with tapping on acupuncture points, and then he called what he developed applied kinesiology. Now, as you may or may not know, like muscle energy testing has sort of become has become a big deal on its own and is again an entirely different conversation. So you may or may not be familiar with it, but it's a way of actually asking the body what's true or what isn't. And if you put your arm out and someone presses down on it and you're saying something that's true, you'll be strong. If you're saying something that is not true, you lose your strength right away. So there are subtleties to applying this and using this, of course, but it's a very, very useful process to know how to do. And then we start integrating psychoanalysis with acupuncture meridians. And John Diamond developed an extension of all of this that he called behavioral kinesiology. And Dr. Diamond was the first one to discover a very important principle, which is psychological reversal. If you are familiar with the EFT protocols at all, you know we start with a setup statement. It's a statement of the problem and a statement of self-acceptance. Because what Dr. Diamond discovered, and which I'm sure many people before him had discovered, is that sometimes people don't get well. And even though they want to. And this is what I actually saw in my massage room, that I was doing everything that I knew to do, and my clients were doing everything that they knew to do. Everybody was doing all the right stuff, but the problem was stuck. That sore shoulder would not get better, you know, and that was very frustrating for everybody, right? So the concept of psychological reversal is that even though you want to get better, there's a part of you that may be afraid to get better, that may have to give up something to get better. And we build the antidote to this right into the EFT statement right away. So we say, tapping on the side of the hand, even though I have this problem, I accept myself. And it's really that simple. When you just say, I accept myself, it opens up a world of healing. It's kind of a magical phrase. And it was a big, big discovery. So bringing all of this together, we come to Roger Callahan, who's an American psychologist. And he brought all of this together and he developed what he called his baby was thought field therapy. And thought field therapy is still a thing. It's still being taught and still being used. Now, thought field therapy is a somewhat complex set of getting to what the problem is. and where to tap to get the benefits. Now, um, that brings us to what happened when Callahan started teaching this. There were like 5 or 6 main people who were his students, and most of them took this material, developed their own. Well, they all took the material and developed their own schools, put their names on it, and went out and started teaching that. And one of those students was Gary Craig, who's the founder of EFT. And Gary Craig is an amazing, awesome human being. So I apparently went backwards. Hold on. Here we go. And Gary Craig, so the reason that thought field therapy is more complex, or let me reverse that. What Gary Craig did to simplify the technique was, since the whole tapping on all of the points only takes about a minute at most, 30 seconds really. He said, well, we don't really have to know which of the meridians we need to tap on. Let's just tap on them all. And in that way, it just became open and available and useful to everybody, from professionals to, just moms and dads wanting to tap and help their kids feel better. So it just opened it up. And the amazing human thing that Gary Craig did was he just put it on the internet so that everybody could get the benefits from it. Now, he does rue that decision a little bit, not for financial reasons, but because people, as they do, start to play with things and they expand it or change it and they muck around with it. And he hasn't been completely happy with some of the things that have happened. So what he did after retiring, now I got my certification through a place called EFT Universe. So Gary Craig sort of handed this off to Dawson Church. And but then after retiring for a while, he decided that he needed to get back into the game. And he created this website, emofree.com. So if you want to check out Gary Craig and see some of his videos and watch him at work, because he's a brilliant tapper, I would recommend it. He's a joy. So that, why does that keep going backwards? Okay, that's because I'm at the end. All right, sorry about that. I thought there was one more. So yeah, there you go. So that is the development of some of the things that fed into and led to the next thing that led to the next thing that brings us here. And energy psychology and energy techniques are just burgeoning. I mean, they're just exploding all over the place. There are so many of them. I'm not even going to try and begin to list them. But I love EFT for a couple of reasons. Well, okay, no, body talk is the other thing. So going back to me, because that's everyone's favorite subject. I was at a point in my massage career where I kind of was at a crossroads, and I was introduced to body talk, which I've used. I've gone to practitioners and was enormously helpful. But professionally, I wanted a tool that I could use in groups that would allow me to touch and help people in settings beyond just one-to-one. And I have always been a therapist who wanted to get as many tools into the hands of my clients as possible. Because my belief is, who can take better care of you than you? You're with you all the time. So EFT is brilliant for that. So as a massage therapist, I would tell people to drink plenty of water and stretch and get strong and exercise. eat right, all of those basic things, stretch and maintain your body alignment and watch um, your ergonomics. But I got to a point where, as I said before, I think I said before that, people weren't healing and why. And I really wanted to get to the root of that. And when I was introduced to EFT, all the light bulbs went off, the fireworks went off. It was like, this is not only what has been holding other people back, this is what's been holding me back. Um, so I had been tapping for a while, and honestly, I tapped for myself sort of in emergency situations. And then the more I tapped, the more I tapped. And the more I tapped, the deeper it got. And I started to feel and see this accelerating wellness rising up in my life and happiness rising. And I was like, I've got to be part of bringing this to the world. So I got certified, and that was a few years ago. And so that brings us up to now. So I'm going to just stop this little video here and just say that if you are interested in just hang around for some links at the end of this video that will direct you to some other resources and some other things to check out. And my course about the habits of happiness. And yeah, that's it. So it's an exciting, exciting time for humans because we are going to be feeling so much better. And I think getting this into the hands of parents and into young people this is just going to change the trajectory of humanity, because hurt people, and we can stop the hurting. All right, my dears, thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you today. And as always, I wish you a joyful heart. Be well.